New York City is the greatest city in the world. Culturally rich, ethnically diverse, it is a true melting pot where traditions and trends are created. People move here from all over the world to follow their dreams. From the tip of Staten Island to the top of the Bronx and everywhere in between, you will find entrepreneurs on every street corner. These are their New York stories.
My name is Duke Reich. I am the owner of Reich Paper Company, located in Brooklyn, New York. Reich Paper is a specialty paper company unlike any other, and this is my New York story.
Duke, thank you very much for having us come in.
Thank you for coming in.
I was very intrigued by your story as an organization, a media organization that has been evolving as the world of media has evolved from being a print-centric organization to a multi-platform operation. And yet you guys have done this phenomenal job in continuing to grow and to flourish, not without bumps in the road, in the paper industry.
That's
when
right.
you have things like paperless posts.
Right.
So how are you doing that?
Yeah, so the recession just really caused, I think, people to start going more towards digital marketing and paperless post. But what we're finding now is that there's a real trend towards paper again, and people like that tactile quality. We're seeing a real trend towards letterpress printing, which pretty much disappeared until the 1950s. But now we're seeing letterpress printed cards and invitations, and that's really why we're here.
That is a fascinating trend.
I think that it's popular because it's done one at a time, and unlike an email that you could send to 1,000 people, in a letterpress invitation or an engraved invitation, it's done one card at a time. So it shows that there's craftsmanship involved, and I just think that there's a real trend towards that. Yeah.
In a way, it kind of dovetails to the makers movement, I guess.
Exactly, the craft movement that we see in craft beer, 45s, right? In music, we're seeing kind of the same thing. So it's we're seeing kind of a real trend towards that, away from the mass, emails. Everyone gets so many emails, but when they get a beautiful invitation in the mail, you really take note.
Right, yeah. It's a very different kind of experience. You don't get that much in the mail anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So much of our paper is used for direct mail, and if a company is going to go through the trouble and expense of a design, the production, and the postal cost, you want to send something that's really beautiful, that someone is not only going to open, but want to keep there.
Right, and feel like an intimate connection to it, in a way.
Exactly.
So explain to me, if you will, and our viewers, what exactly is and does Reich Paper do for a layman?
We actually have two companies, Reich Paper and Reich Paper Store. What we do is we create papers, and we have those papers manufactured in Europe by these small boutique paper mills. And
textured papers.
Textured 100% cotton, vellum papers, pearlescent papers, mostly papers that are not manufactured here in the States. We also have Reich Paper Store, which sells smaller quantities, primarily shipped right here from this location, for the smaller stationer, letterpress printer, designer who only needs a small quantity of paper. So,
but it's purely B2B, not B2C. Is that
Reich
fair?
Paper is B2B. Reich Paper Store is B2C. So,
so what I saw on the website, when I was talking about
that's a retail, that's a B2C, and we have there's so many creative people in Brooklyn that so many people will order online and then come here to pick up, to save on the shipping costs. So we get to meet a wonderful array of graphic artists, whether it's for letterpress printing or a graphic designer.
And did you, I guess as a kid, think this was, did you think you would always be in the business or never be in the business? I always feel like there's one, when people come out of family business, it's either boom or boom.
That's an excellent question, because I got into the business because in my father's heyday, people were enjoying the business. They were making a lot of money in the business. So there was a very small industry. And I said, I could do that. And then the industry changed and changed tremendously from those days where, it's not nearly as lucrative. There are now so many other competitors, such as China, for example.
But did you work in the business, leave the business, come back to the business?
I started in 1988, so I've been here for a little over 25 years. No, I've been here since. So I've seen a lot of changes.
Okay. Now, do you particularly gravitate towards one part of the business, the creative side, the sales marketing, the operational?
I wear a lot of hats at a small company. My favorite is the creative side, for sure. Calling on designers, I see the light bulb light up, above their head when I show them something.
Yeah, and I see it in your face.
The operations I obviously have to do, but that's the least favorite of mine.
Okay. And did you ever cross over with your dad, or had your dad left the business in essence when you came in '88?
My father has only not been here for a few years. So,
okay.
Yeah, so we worked together for quite a few years, and
I
think that he and I are so different. I think that I'm much more like my mother, who's very creative, that we got along very well. So
it was a nice compliment.
It was wonderful, yeah.
That's great. And did your mom work in the business at all?
She has her watercolor studio upstairs, but she is never involved with the business, but an artist. So.
Does she design for you ever?
She does not, no.
Okay.
We make use of a Brooklyn designer working out of his apartment.
One designer?
Yep.
Wow, okay. Now, you said your dad come sometimes, and you guys had a nice complementary relationship with working with one another because you're so different.
Right.
And I'm curious, what did he, I guess, give to you in terms of how you look at your business and how you hold a bar to a certain standard? What does that mean for you?
Well, I think a couple of things that he's taught me is to always be honest. If you don't know the answer, when I was starting off, say you don't know the answer and get back to the person.
Isn't that like the smartest, simplest
Isn't
advice
it
ever?
like basic?
It's
right.
basic.
Right. Call someone back.
Right.
I mean, a lot of silly little things.
Vulnerability in that.
Right. And also he's taught me integrity, which I think, I'm not in this for a week or a year. I've been in this for 25 plus years, and I hope to be in it for another, 20 whatever. But I think the other thing that he has taught me is that everything in life, especially business, is cyclical. Everything that comes around again. Letterpress printing. No one would have ever guessed that this was popular. If you walk around the stationery show at the Javits Center every May, there are more letterpress printers there because people just love the texture of that, the deep impression that you get from it.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting. It's like what's old is new.
Right? Exactly so. Yeah.
It's kind of like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Or it's like fashion, as you were talking about before.
Right.
They say if you keep items in your closet for 20 years,
it'll come back.
It's a little bit challenging in New York sometimes, that it comes back.
Right.
And you see that over and over, and it's similar, I think.
That plus the craft movement, I think.
Yes, I think the craft movement is very significant. And it's, it's neat that you are surrounded by it and probably incredibly inspired by it. So how are you inspired? I mean, what inspires you?
I would have to say good design inspires me. I mean, my son who was here earlier today was looking at the new Apple, gadgets that were released, and just the simplicity of good design, that it gets a message across. And I think that's something that really resonates with me. And
it's very special that you've been able to sustain in the way that you have. Really.
Yep.
And it's you that is driving this. And do you think that through this, you have kind of developed your business skills in different ways that you didn't realize you could do in the past because out of necessity, you had to be a different kind of business?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, business is, like I said, it's changing daily, and wearing so many hats, it's learning about...
So what have you learned that you're surprised you are now doing that you didn't realize you would do?
I think the biggest surprise that I personally am not doing, but my wife is now doing, is social media, which is huge. And I had no idea. And I don't even have a Facebook page, but she is doing social media, and we are seeing so many uses of our products on Pinterest. And this all started with her. She loves Pinterest, going and seeing, here's someone like saying how great your paper is. Like, we need to use that somehow. I mean, this is like free advertising. So she's doing a fantastic job with that. And that's an area that, I'm in the paper industry, which is a touchy-feely thing, but the internet somehow can work to promote that. So it's, to me, it's fascinating.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And you use it effectively. You use it very effectively.
Yeah, I hope so. And then also, like, we're using the internet to sell small quantities of our paper. So it's like, it's all kind of involved and interwoven, but I think the social thing is what really surprises me the most.
Okay. And what have you gotten back? I mean, are you retweeted? Do people, I mean, like, following just the social media avenue, if you will, like, what have you seen as a result of effectively using social media for growing your business?
We introduced a cotton product maybe 7 years ago. And that was when I learned the power of the blog. Because before we even introduced this product, I ran it by a couple of friends, letterpress printers, and they blogged about it. And all of a sudden, we're getting orders before we even advertise this product. And so, there are a few blogs, and a lot of people are following. And all of a sudden, everyone knows about this product, and we did really nothing. We haven't really officially introduced it yet. So
you look so surprised. You were like, wow, it's the power of the media.
I'm
right?
old school.
And no, but it's really, it's wonderful to see how that change in business has been such a positive effect when you've also had challenges around the other changes that weren't so positive. And so it's, it's kind of a little bit maybe of a balancing act between the old and the new.
Yep.
And I think it's so poignant that, you say you're old school, your wife's doing a lot of new school things, that it's a really wonderful combination.
For a small company like ours, who has a presence throughout North America and distribution in Australia, and we're growing, social media has been incredibly important for us. And it's also, just being the old school guy, it's also amazing to me how many people reach out and are impressed by a handwritten note after I call on them, at a fashion company in New York or wherever, hey, thanks for your time. And wow, you took the time to write a note on a letterpress printed card. It's sometimes that gets noted.
So what's next, Duke?
What's next is new products. Again, in the label area, I think in the specialty area, the real high end area of communication where people really want to show the best. And I think that if you're going to write a letter, you want to write it on the best material, and that's really, I think, where we come in.
That sounds great. Well, thank you very much for letting us tell your story.
Yes. Thank
really
you for coming in
and
sharing our space here.
Well, thank you. And, I think it's such a gift to be able to, still have beautiful, high quality craftsmanship.
Get more cranes in